This tune just blows my freaking mind, man. It's so good. Oh my god. Like, are you kidding? Eyes of Madness for the win. It's so good. Oh. Hello, Mr. Patterson. Hey, let me first say I apologize for not getting back to you yet regarding GDC and regarding Celeste Fmod stuff. We have a game shipping tomorrow, and I'm kind of dousing the flames, you know, so to speak. But next week, my schedule opens up for a lot of things I've been putting off, like planning GDC talks with, well, talk with Matt, as well as stuff like Fmod projects, things, and otherwise. So I appreciate your patience, and I'm sorry for not getting back to you sooner. Hello, everyone else. What's next? Duh. This song's so good too. This whole album is so damn good. I put it in the chat here. Holy, is this album good, man! Killer live show too. How's everyone doing? I'm doing okay. We are looking at one Anthony Martinez today. He hit us up on Twitter and said, "Hey guys, I would like a critique of my reel. I've been struggling trying to find work as a sound designer and would appreciate any tips." Well, hopefully we can help out, yeah? I don't know that Anthony's here. I hit him back, but he was saying on Twitter he also doesn't use Twitter very often, so he may just see a VOD. We'll see what happens, but regardless, here he is. But before we do that, one second, here we go. Here it is. Freaking... This is out today. Excuse me. Aegis Defenders. Been working on it for a long time. Kind of off and on. And it's freaking out! With a killer soundtrack from our very own good pal and principal composer Riley Koenig. He killed it. He absolutely killed it. So, people seem to like it, so that's cool. It's good news. And tomorrow Descenders is coming out. That, you know, procedural, extreme, permadeath, free riding. It's also totally different than everything else we're working on. It's very different than Celeste, that's for sure. Very, very different. Oh, and speaking of Celeste, I'll probably do a little bit of some Forsaken City IL stuff. Yeah, this month is crazy, Matt. Like, this quarter is... Last quarter was crazy too, actually, for us. We had Battle Chasers come out and a bunch of deadlines to hit and stuff, and then this first quarter is kind of a result of all those deadlines and all that hard work. You know, we have... I mean, things are coming out now, but, you know, certification deadlines happen like a month previous, right? So, a month or more, actually. So yeah, Celeste and Into the Breach was announced as well, coming out later this month, and yeah, crazy. Crazy stuff. A lot of things happening. What's up, one Mr. Bean? Good to see ya. And Desiode, hey, yo. Thanks a lot for the kind words regarding Celeste. Let's mute this. Shall we? Let me close this. Into the Breach, it's good, man. It's so good. It's a great game. It plays very differently than FTL. But it's like, it's just massively good. It's so good. It's it has the same kind of like, oh god, things are going badly, what do I do? kind of feelings as FTL did. And I'm looking forward to it. I think it's gonna blow up. I think people are gonna like it a lot. I'm definitely looking forward to it. And it was mostly Joey's design. There was some help from Cole and Jeff, I believe. I mean, as always, typically it's, well, not typically, but oftentimes how it works at Power Up is like one person kind of takes point of the project, like myself with Celeste, and then the rest of the team kind of offers support as needed in terms of feedback and, just hitting timeline stuff, helping out. So, yeah, Joey killed it on Into the Breach as well. Just keeps getting better. What's up, Easy Audio? Good to see ya. It's been a while. Been a wee bit indeed. So, I did give you this link, right, Matt? I'm pretty sure I did. Cool. We're good to go. So, if you haven't seen Real Talk before, I suspect most of you have, but perhaps some of you rolled in from the Discord or something. So, no chat. What? You see no chat? What are you talking about? You see no chat. Oh, like, in the window? I had the same problem. I was watching Forsaken SRL, watching them do some Celeste runs. And if you can't see, like, anybody else's messages in the chat, then I suspect that's probably a Twitch-wide problem right now, because I was having the same thing. Like, he wasn't on mic, but what he was doing is he was, like, alt-tabbing to the chat window, and then I could see him replying. Like, I read his replies, like, in his video feed. It was super dumb. But that's how we communicated. It was, like, delayed chat. Super, super dumb. So, I mean, hopefully, I guess so. Just I was saying, refreshing fixed it. So, if you can't see chat, then refresh your window, I guess. Hopefully it'll fix itself. So, anyways, Real Talk. We're doing a few things here today. We're looking at Anthony Martinez, as I mentioned. And this is a little stream that Matthew Martinson, that's Matt Esk in the chat, Matthew Martinson and I throw together every week. We look at demo reels from up-and-coming folks in the game audio scene, mostly in sound design, occasionally in kind of composition or a mix of the two. And we look at those in an effort to give honest and unfiltered, well, mostly unfiltered, constructive criticism. Because when you apply to some gig, like an indie dev or a studio like ours, or a larger studio like Blizzard or something like that, you might not get, and that is you will almost absolutely not get constructive feedback in return, because they have a bunch of resumes to go through and it's not time effective or etc. There's no benefit to their doing so. And it's not like they're jerks, they just don't have time for it, and it makes complete sense. And also it invites conflict and confrontation, which is just also not a good business choice. So there's a lot of reasons we want to do this thing instead here, because we don't really care if you like us in the end, and also there's no pressure because you're not applying to Power Up Audio or Clay Entertainment. I mean, or you're probably not, at least. It's possible you are. We've had a few of those in the past. I know Clay had a job posting a while back, and that was a thing that happened. But anyway, we're looking at a few things here down below. You can see the list. There's presentation, material selection, content quality, and distinction. For a presentation, we're looking at the site as a whole, as well as your demo reel content and what all is there and how you're presenting yourself to people on the internet that might not know you very well yet or at all. And what that, making sure that all the pertinent info is present. Things like your contact info and appropriate titling in the video and such, everything like that, as well as just simply aesthetics and navigation and things like that too. It's not a web design stream, but we definitely give our first impressions of site stuff. For material selection, what is in your actual portfolio, and what's that say about what you want to be doing, what you're doing now, what you have been doing, what your skill sets look like. For content quality, just is it good or not, and if not, or rather, if there are ways you can improve it, we'll try to let you know about those various ways. And distinction, simply, are you standing out? Because everyone wants your job, or the job that you want, rather. And if you aren't standing out in some respect, then you probably aren't going to get hired. Straight up, you'll be just dead in the water. That is, if you're generic, if you're forgettable, then, well, you're forgotten. That's the meaning of the word, isn't it? So, thank you all for coming in, as always. If you have any questions or anything along the way that is not related to Real Talk, then feel free. It's a very kind of free-form stream. And if you have any comments on the reel itself as we go through, then feel free to share all that stuff. It's all kind of a group effort to improve someone's chances here. So, Anthony, I don't think you're in the stream right now, but I'll talk to you as if you are, just in case you're watching the VOD later on. And hopefully you get something out of this. Hopefully we can help you out a bit. All right? So here we are, Anthony Martinez. This is amartinezsound.com. We'll do that too. little more space. So we have home, sound designs, music recordings, about me, contact, and resume, and a mail to link here, which is unfortunate. But I can select the text at least. That's good. Sound designer for games and film. Music and sound designer. Okay, cool. Then we have a big thing that seems like this is what he wants us to watch. And then, so this is a sound design and implementation demo reel. All right. Next up, we've got just some things that look to be Instagram posts. There's like a like thing here. What is this? Can I like this? Yes. I like it. I do like it. Is this going somewhere? Like, what is this link? What's this even? What's happening on this page right now? Shooter game audio map. What the heck? Okay. Closing that down. I don't know what. I mean, there's one like here. That's nice. That's nice at least, right? Yeah, I don't understand these at all. It's kind of confusing to me, but that's fine. We'll carry on. We're on home right now. Sound designs. Also, this goes home also. Like these two buttons. This is probably unnecessary if you're going this also, or just don't link with this one. I don't know. Uh-oh, confusion, says Matt. Never want to leave people confused. Yeah, I'm confused. I'm definitely a little bit confused about what I'm looking at right now. Portfolio. So this says sound designs, and oh, I can't select this text. That says sound designs, and this says portfolio, and this says check out my work. So I'm a big fan. I know Matt is too. I'm a big fan of trimming the fat. And right now, I'm zoomed in, mind you. Like this is 100%. But regardless, this is a lot of white space. A whole lot of white space. For a small icon that says portfolio and check out my work. Like, I mean, that's why I'm here. This is kind of superfluous, you know? Like, this isn't important. Sound designs and portfolio also not being the same word is kind of consistency stuff, like music recordings. This one says, oh, there is no title here at all. It just is straight to the music. About me, we've got about me. Okay, that's good. That matches. My name is Anthony Martinez, and I am a well-balanced sound designer and audio engineer. I am from Chicago, Illinois, and went to the Illinois Institute of Art for audio production. That's not very much about you. It's a good start. I think that you're probably, I suspect, Anthony, you're probably concerned about being too verbose, like too long, you know, with your bio, but I think, I know, so here's the thing. So Matt and I have had kind of we've had kind of a shift in perspective. I think I can speak for you, Matt, but definitely correct me if I'm wrong here. I think that we've had something of a shift in perspective because a long time ago we didn't really care about bios that much. But then what happened is we looked at like 120 reels or more. Now I don't even know what the count is anymore. It's up there, and well, reels and websites as well, of course. And we found that when there wasn't a bio, we missed it. You know, because the thing is, this is your work being good is really important. But this is kind of a good place to stand out a bit more in terms of your personality and individuality and such. And I would like to know a bit more about you than just like that you went to a school, because everyone else, well, not everyone else, but many other people went to a school as well. And this alone doesn't, in my opinion, like, doesn't do a lot to sell you. I kind of want to know, like why are you in sound? Like, do you like playing games? Like, what are you into? I mean, this is kind of, I don't know. There isn't much here. It's pretty generic. And then we got like capital S sound designer, and then like lowercase e engineer. Like sound designer being capital is kind of arguable in the first place, but like whatever, it's fine. But then audio engineer, I immediately saw the E being like, oh, why isn't this also capitalized? Just small details like that, just kind of consistency. We've got, and also Matt's talking about the console. So do you own that giant console? I'm going to say probably not. And do you work at the studio that does? This is probably a Illinois Institute of Art for audio production. Is this also not supposed to be capitalized, being the name of a school? But, so this is probably a school console. Matt says, I didn't care about abouts until we had a few without one. Then I wanted one. I want to know something about the person so I can form some more attachment than just a reel. Yeah, that's really what it comes down to, is like this distinction note I was talking about, right? Down here. That distinction note is pretty important, and having some kind of like, hey, I did these things, is really helpful. It is. Just, it's one more kind of impression to help, lock yourself into someone's memory. Contact, real easy. Here it is. I mean, this is here. I guess it's nice to have this kind of readily available all over the place, but this is approaching too much. Like right now, it's 3 places in one page. But I don't know. This, I guess it's. I can't fault you too much, because we always say like make it as easy as possible for people to contact you, and I don't like take offense. It's not ridiculous, but it's like it's getting there. It's pretty all over the place. Resume. Okay, so we have some kind of branding here, the A and the M. It's kind of cool. I like it, although it's like different font. See, here's the thing. I like that this is a good start for branding, but like here's a suggestion. Look at your capital M for a second across your site, all right? This is getting it a bit away from audio, so just bear with me for a second. I'm a big fan of being really active in your decision making about things like this, about your branding, because that's what you are. You're selling yourself as a brand. Before, like, until you're hired somewhere, that is assuming you're looking for a studio gig or something. If you're looking to be a freelancer, this is way more important than just being rather your brand is more important as a freelancer than it is as like someone vying for a gig at Bethesda, right? But it's important regardless. So here's your capital M, right? This M is different from this M, is different from this M, is different from this M, is different from this M. And that's kind of unfortunate, that there's like just a constant kind of shift in like what your brand actually is. And it may not seem like much, but like that's your name, and your name is like the main kind of like icon for your page, right? And I like this. I like the A, like the red black is nice. And then it being red black in your resume also. And I hope it's in your reel too. That'd be really cool. But yeah, just things like this just go a long way as far as it shows that you made an active, thoughtful kind of decision about this small detail in your site. And here's the thing about details is when I see, and I'm sure I'm not alone on this, when I see details like that taken care of, then it tends to have this effect where I make either conscious or unconscious assumptions about your tendency to make to have a high attention to detail in other areas also. So in your work, in sound, right? And it goes both ways. Like if I see typos or inconsistencies or whatever, then I might draw conclusions, whether true or not. I'm drawing, assumption-based conclusions about your attention to detail in your work. So if it's not there, I might, assume the same goes for your work. And if it is there, then in a positive sense, I assume the same thing for your work as well, right? So this is just one small kind of detail. I think you could probably, make one very simple change and make it awesome. Like I don't know why this A and M aren't the same A and M here, or the same icon even. Just be the same thing. So cool. This is all good stuff. Skills, software, hardware. Great skills. Sound design, editing, Foley, location recording. Rad. Sounds cool. Let's carry on. Excuse me. Desau loves the branding. Sweet. I don't blame you. Let's go back to sound designs for a second. So this portfolio thing, this is again kind of back to a weird consistency thing. On the front page, we've got this like grid of rectangles that are kind of featureless and not explained at all. They're just videos, and I have no idea which is the most important or what I'm even clicking before I do it. With the sound designs page, this is a lot better. I've got Lost World, audio implementation and design, Battlefield 1, redesign, Out of Bounds, redesign. So I'm very clear on what these things are. I don't like these buttons. Just make these things buttons. I wanted to click these, especially because on your previous page, the pictures are the button, right? So we've got some information, just really concise, quick thing. And I assume these are probably in your reel, and if they are, then we can, that's good. We can move over to this page and learn more about what you did. Really cool. However, this is garbage. Like this is really not helping you at all. There's probably some good stuff in here, and I'm curious what this looks like compared to this stuff. So we'll find out right now here. But this has got to change. This is just not good. So shall we? I'm gonna make sure I'm all cranked up here. I believe I am. And just give me one hot second here. Here we go. All right, so play. We'll make it full screen, full volume. Let's. I'm just gonna come back again, and let's go.
Base station, Sergeant. Please stand by for objectives.
Copy that, base station.
Sergeant, perform a weapons check. You've been provided with a rifle and a plasma launcher.
I didn't even see this. 5 minutes long. Okay, all right. Okay, so here's the thing. If this was a minute long, I would keep watching. We're already 45 seconds in. But just thumbnails. Oh, man. Is it the same thing for 5 minutes straight? Oh, it changes. Whew. Okay, let's watch it.
Sergeant, you've acquired some damage. Find the nearest health restore located near you. Sergeant, reload and proceed to check the area.
Yeah, me too, Matt. I would have begun skipping around the boom, that one.
What's going on here? Where is everyone?
Next thing. All right.
Base station, come in, base station. I repeat, base station, come in.
Guess I'm on my own.
What the hell? I think this is the last clip, if I recall the thumbnails. Oh, I don't actually know if this is set up, is it? Hey! I couldn't recall if I got the applause ready or not. Okay. Right, so there's like a lot of really obvious problems here. But overall, it's like, it's not terrible at all. It's just, it's really poorly presented, but the content is not anywhere near the worst we've seen. Like, not even close. It's decent, you know? It's decent content. What's real tragic is what the hell is all this stuff? You know? So in sound designs, we've got Lost World, which we saw. Battlefield 1? We did not see that. Right? No, it was Gears. It was a Gears redesign. Out of Bounds. Like, what the heck, man? Anthony, I don't know what you want me to look at, man. So there's a very core problem with how you're presenting yourself on the internet at the moment. And that is, you were giving little to no consideration, it would seem, to how long people have, like how much time people have available to look at your work. So let's say I had 5 minutes total, which is generous. It might not seem like much, but when you have studios that have, you know, and it seems like you're looking for AAA work, given your portfolio, or your reel at least, if there is a junior designer position advertised at, like, you know, somewhere you want to work, they're going to get very probably hundreds of resumes, you know? And so now put yourself in the shoes of an audio director or a recruiter or someone in a position where they need to go through these reels and these portfolios and these websites. You have 400 reels to go through, okay? So if you open a page and immediately you see a video that demands all 5 of those minutes, what are you going to do? Are you going to hope for the best, that those 5 minutes will be used perfectly? Or are you going to try and get the most of it and skip through? Watch a bit, shoot a game.
Base station, Sergeant, please stand by.
Okay, cool. Some Unreal stuff. Carry on. Some shooting. Got it. Carrying on. There's more of the same. Still the same thing. You know, like this is literally what'll happen if someone rolls in. This might seem uncaring because, I mean, obviously you put a lot of work into this. Like everyone puts a lot of work into their reel. They want to put their best foot forward, right? But this is really the reality of the thing. Like someone's gonna roll into your site and they're gonna skip through, and you don't want that. You want to show that you have a good sense of flow, and you have consideration for how the industry works, and you have consideration for giving the most pertinent information first and letting people decide if they want to look at more things or if they have seen enough. There's just not much of that in this reel. This reel shows a kind of just absence of consideration. And it's not quite discourteous. It's not rude. It's just not a benefit to you. It's detrimental to your own ambitions, right? Because you want to show off your work, but this isn't doing it, unfortunately. And again, it's not even about the quality of the content. It's about the vehicle by which you're delivering it. You know? So Matt says, I thought there was a lot missing. So I'll make sure I get all your comments. I do. So Matt says, I thought there was a lot missing, and the long cut gets real boring. So it makes what's there feel worse than it is. I agree. I've made judgment calls and applications in under 5 minutes. It isn't unrealistic that someone will have less time than that for the first pass on people. Totally. Like, we can roll into a page, and... Excuse me. We can roll into a page, and if in 10 seconds of a reel, it's been made clear... Like, let's say one of the... For a real talk, in the last 120 reels we've done, let's pick, like, the in terms of experience that it seems that person has, let's pick, like, the bottom 10 of those 120, right? I probably don't need more than, like, 10 seconds to know that person's not the right candidate for the position, you know? And it's not like it's rude or mean. It's just the facts. If I need to get someone who's the best or the best fit for a position or needs, like, 3 years experience or whatever, or needs, like, these specific skills, and this page is not demonstrating that, then, of course, why would I stay longer, right? I mean, the whole thing, a long time ago, I saw a talk with Scott Gershon, and he said that you need to impress me in 10 seconds and make me want to keep hearing more. Like, make me want to hear more in 10 seconds. So here's the thing. Do you do that with yours? 3.
Base station, Sergeant, please stand by for objectives.
Copy that, base station.
So in 10 seconds, we heard a cool futz voiced thing and some footsteps and some ambience that is kind of like music. I'm not sure if it's music or like an ambient, like, kind of bed, you know? So it's not a lot. It's not the worst start, but there's not much to go off of there so far, you know? And then, because it's not the worst start, I suspect people will be more lenient and be like, all right, what else you got? I'm going to keep watching. Let's watch 10 more seconds.
Weapons check. You've been provided with a rifle and a plasma launcher.
10 more seconds, I've learned nothing additional. You know? And it's like, it's just the facts that those 10 seconds were basically identical in content to the previous 10 seconds. So, again, thinking about the fact that people will make very fast, they'll come to conclusions very quickly about your work. And these 20 seconds are not helping you at all. I think that it would benefit you a lot to cut this reel down to a minute. I know that seems short compared to 5 because you put a lot of work into the content in this reel so far, right? But I think it's really important to realize this reel should not be everything you have to offer that you want to show people. It should be more of like a teaser of your ambitions and skill sets and what you're capable of, you know, what excites you, like show off your passion. And then once you've roped people in, like Matt's saying, 20 seconds in, you're starting to lose me. There you go. So right now, the current format isn't helping you. But if you have a minute long and you show only your hottest stuff, like your best stuff you're most proud of, and it's cut in a way that makes sense, that feels like it flows really well, then you're gonna hook people in. Because the content's not bad. Like it's got room for improvement, obviously, but it's not bad at all. But unfortunately, as someone else mentioned before, the longer the shot is, it makes, I think it was Matt, it makes the content seem worse because we're getting bored, you know? And it's not worse, it's just it's the same. So you're not teaching us more things. And we're looking at our watch the entire time being like, I got to get through these resumes, you know? Or like get to lunch or just do anything else with my day, right? So 1 minute long, I would love to see a 1 minute long cut of this reel. And as would Matt. So let's go through some criteria here. So presentation-wise, we're saying the length is way, way too effing long. It should be this long. Isn't that crazy? Look where that is in the timeline. A minute compared to 5. Crazy. But, so first off, the opening. We've got, what the heck is this, man? You got this sweet branding up top and on your resume as well. And now you're making a complete departure away from this. It looks like the same font, though, I think, at least. It's a complete departure to yellow now. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why you've done that. I think that if you decide on this brand, like the red black thing, AM, for your name, I think you should just go all in on that. Like, just go hard branding, you know? Starting out, we have, boom. First off, I think your name is way more important than this. I put your name front and center because that's who they're hiring. They're not hiring game audio demo reel. Name here, boom. And then beneath that, you can put just like game audio demo reel, done. Even this part is kind of not even that important because you can say it for each section what the things are, you know? Just be very concise. I'll say that I almost didn't get to your name when I read this thing through the first time. Game audio demo reel, sound design, and implementation, but it's gone. You know? So it's gone in a very quick time period, and that's good. You shouldn't hang out too long, but all this information that I've never seen before going in blind, I'm going to start reading top left. You know? I think this should definitely be name, Anthony Martinez, up front. Just again, impressions. Get people to recall who you are. Carrying on. Now we have this gray that kind of pops in. White on gray is like not very attractive just from a general standpoint. And again, it departs from not even this, but now also the yellow and black thing. So this is like completely unbranded. It's also probably too much information, but it's like arguable. So shooter game, sound design and implementation, assets gathered from Unreal Engine Marketplace, put together in level utilizing Blueprint, C#, C++ coding. That's cool. Great. I think you could probably bullet point that a bit more. Because again, thinking about 1 minute, you're going to be cutting it down to like this, the best stuff, right? And you don't want people's attention on this. You want their attention on your awesome work. So the more you can kind of just be brief with this content, the better. And also, keep this up the entire time, okay? It fades away pretty fast. Well, it snaps out, actually, it doesn't fade.
Copy that, base.
Gone. And now the thing is, if I skip back from that minute to like here, I don't know what I'm looking at anymore. And if I want to, for example, see this thing, like a larger version of this, the elaborated version that shows the cool things you did in more detail, I want to know what I'm looking for. So I go to your sound designs page and I try and find this thing, but like, well, what even was this thing? Where's the, you know, like I don't know what this is. There's literally there's no downside to like leaving this up the entire time. I couldn't even find it. I was looking for it. I couldn't find it. Here it is. Right, leave it up the entire time. Also change it from this to like a black background. The gray is really gross. Next thing, we've got Lost World Titan, and this is just brutal to read. See, it's so white. It's like white on white here. It's pretty rough. Matt says title isn't even the before loading press play screen from YouTube. So you haven't seen the info before you press play. Oh, sorry, no sound on the title card. Like to your sound title cards. Good call. I didn't mention that. There's like some ambience kind of coming in, but I don't know. It's a good chance for a little more than that. Good opportunity to flex on a white canvas, you know.
Going on here?
We'll carry on just presentation wise. This next thing. So Lost. I can't find this title. Where is it? Here we go. Oh, furthermore, this fade to black. It's a lot of black. It's kind of cool showing sound design with no visual. I do kind of like that. And if that's the reason you did that, then cool. But in your full minute, just be very aware that fading to black and fading back in can be kind of like a start-stop kind of feel to it, and less of a flow through your entire reel. Like it's like you're taking people on a journey, you know. So going to black, coming back is kind of a little bit, I don't know, dangerous. Okay, Lost World Titans, sound design and implementation, assets gathered from Unreal Engine Marketplace. So this is like a demo project. It's the same gun as before, right? Isn't it the same thing? Or similar? Yeah, there it is. Same gun. So the thing is, this is like, these two things are really similar. I mean, if you didn't give me titles, I wouldn't know they're different because the guns are the same, right? Like it's the same gun. And I appreciate its Unreal Engine Marketplace stuff. Yeah, Metro's all saying seems like the same project, new terrain. Yeah, it just seems like you could probably take a. I would prefer to see a wider breadth of work in your reel, you know, what's up, Delarat? Good to see you. These two things being back to back, it just seems like I do like the difference in environment. It's kind of cool, like kind of the outdoor thing versus the sci-fi thing. That's nice. But just the gun just locks you down in this. It's still Unreal, same thing, you know. Carrying on to the next thing, we've got, where is it? Here we go. Gears of War sound replacement. Here's the thing. So Gears of War in the previous title, if I can find it, there it is. We have Lost World Titan, and then beneath that, what you did, what this is. And what you did is sound design implementation. On this one, we've got sound replacement, like right here in big letters. And you might as well just put it beneath. And then beneath that, you define what sound replacement is. All audio is stripped and replaced with my own. We know what that is. It's totally fine. You don't need to say that. Again, in the effort of just trimming down your information, just kill that off. If you say sound redesign, we're going to know what that is. It's fine. It's totally fine. Everyone who's hiring anyone ever knows what that is. It's totally fine. Okay, so the ending, we've got this, which is again like completely different from your opening card, and from this, and from your resume, and from this text. I think you just need to focus in your brand a lot more than it is. That your fan, calm down. Let's have a glance at this stuff though. I do want to see it. I liked it. I better watch it, right? Wait, what? Is this an image or a video? These are just images? Oh, I can't see this at all. What the heck? If I zoom in, it goes smaller if I zoom in. Look at this. Oh, jeez. Oh, I see what's happening here. It's like 100%. It's a nice size, but 150, it shrinks due to the template stuff. That's unfortunate. Oh, responsive design. I guess so. What is this? Oh, here we go. Full screen. I mean, like, this is not great at all. I don't want to look at this thing and figure out what you did, man. If you just... And this is like... Yeah, this is rough. I guess it's kind of a tour through, like, cool things you've done. It was kind of like the gallery social media thing from last week, right? What the hell was his name? Kyle Johnson. It's just like, yeah, I don't know about this. Oh no, sorry, Kyle was the previous week. Was it? I can't recall. Sorry. All right, so this is like, I thought these were all, someone else liked it, like 2 likes now. Is that Matt? Thanks, man. So these are not helping anyone, man. I mean, do you know how much I'd prefer to see a video of you explaining these things? Heck yeah, I would absolutely watch that. I don't want to look at a thing and try and figure out what you did, because the thing is, I don't even know if you did this right based on an image. And this template stuff is brutal too. Like, I didn't even want to look at this. We got Amuses, Basement Creeks, Creepy Tones, Deep Drone, Flying Cars, Forest Am, Lake Am. This also has some inconsistencies in terms of like underscore here, space here, all lowercase, capital letters. So this alone doesn't really instill confidence in me that this is, I don't know, just detail stuff, you know. Main environment for Lost World. Wait, is this Lost World? And then we've got Lost World, 2 words. So like, yeah, it's just a lot of inconsistent detail stuff across your whole page. Just makes me wonder, you know, which is not good. And then like sound redesign, and then re-sound design. You know, just go through your page and make sure everything else is the same as everything else, you know. So, Metrosol, I'm not like the world's leading expert in Fmod by any stretch, but yeah, I'll certainly draw conclusions. Certainly, like if you give me an image, I'll totally look at it, because the thing is, you're not the one leading me through it. So I'm forced to look at it myself and have my own little journey through it, right? All All right, so oh, and then sound redesign, no hyphen. I can go on. You know, it's unfortunate that I'm so focused on this thing, but there's just so much of it. It's hard to miss it. So let's go back to the reel and let's talk about the material selection. Yes, our next little criterion down here. The material selection is kind of cool, man. You know, you have Unreal, we got the blueprints, and we got the implementation, and C++ coding. Like, these are very hireable skills, you know? These are great. Totally. Very hireable skills. And then this last bit, sound redesign, to kind of, you know, cap off your implementation skills. To be like, yep, here's a cinematic thing. Here's what I do if I have no constraints on implementation. If I just have a timeline, I put sounds on it, you know? It's cool. It's good to have that a lot. And Matt says, inconsistent in a project is actually a big thing. You're talking about the fmod naming thing, right? It totally is. It's a very, very big deal. It's a very big deal. Yeah, so Matt's talking about material selection here. He says, good doing stuff is not just another game redo. I've seen a bunch. This Unreal demo is becoming that slowly. We're seeing this more and more and more. So just be aware if you are doing this. It's immediately a box checked regarding showing your aptitude and passion and affinity for like learning new things on your own. That's fantastic. It's very, very good. But it's realized the content and the quality of your design is going to be judged against everyone else who's done the same thing. So just be aware. And I don't think this is the best one we've heard. It's not the worst either, but it's not the best. So the problem with things like this is that when it's not amazing, it tends to kind of mix in with everything else we've seen. You know, it's hard to recall like which one, like whose was the one that had this particular element in it from that same demo we've seen like, you know, 15 times. But no, this is really strong. And I haven't seen anything like this because it seems like you made it yourself, the Lost World thing. I can't even find it. Here it is. It seems like you just made this yourself based on what you said in the title card. Assets gathered from Unreal Engine Marketplace. Yeah, so this is more effective in a big way than this one. Like, enough so that I think you could probably just cut this and, well, I don't know if you cut it. I don't know. It's hard to say. I like your vocal futzing and stuff. It's nice. But this one is much more effective from a standalone Unreal Engine demonstration because it's not the same environment we've seen so many times. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so overall, I think Matt would agree this is obviously gunning for AAA. I mean, the Gears thing and the Unreal stuff and so forth, first-person shooters. It's all seems pretty apparent if that's the case. And recording things, cool. I wish I could. I want to click these for videos, man. Ugh. Oh well. Let's see these though. I didn't see these before, so I can watch these. Watch video. Do you talk about it? I hope so. 2.5 minutes of what the heck? What is happening with this text? What the heck? Is that like a stylistic choice? it looks like it faded in halfway and stopped. Look at that, see? What the heck? Okay.
Base station, come in, base station. I repeat, base station, come in.
Guess I'm on my own.
Okay, so I'm not... Part 2. Here's the thing, Anthony. Okay, so if I have taken it upon myself to go to your portfolio page and click on the thing that I liked from your reel, I want to see more. Typically, I want to see a board trooper. I was going to comment on that too. I want to see more information about this thing. I want to see what you did. So what's way, way more effective than just showing us gameplay again, but longer, is you talking over it and talking about the cool things you did. Like, here's my ambient system. Here's like the roll off on this ambient element. It's really cool. Have a listen to it. Walk in and out. Demonstrate that. Here's the gun. Here's this monster that I triggered from this way and this time, and here's how it sounds as a result, and etc. Like, you can talk about whatever you did. And the thing is, you probably have a lot of cool things going on. I also heavily used blueprints. Tell us about it. What'd you do? You know, don't make us guess. It's fine to be like, I did all these things, but if you tell us what you did, that is A, it demonstrates your abilities in a more direct method, and B, it helps us learn more about you. And again, if you explain something you worked very hard on, and you explain it to somebody who will appreciate that information, that's like a very good thing in terms of getting your foot in a door somewhere, because they're gonna be like, oh, this guy is like seems pumped about the Unreal Engine based on how he's talking about this project, and they're gonna want to bring you in and talk to you. Like, they're gonna want to, you know. But whereas this just gives me literally nothing more. Like, literally nothing. I've gained nothing more from this. It's the same thing we already saw, you know. So it becomes redundant. And then as a result of this thing, I don't want to watch these, because I'm again drawing assumptions. I'm making assumptions and drawing conclusions that these are also not going to be worth my time, you know? So think of it from like a narrative perspective, like your site from a narrative perspective, and reward people for wanting to see more. Like, show them new things. Be like, oh, thank you so much for clicking this button. My name's Anthony. Let's do this, and walk through it, you know? It's so much more effective. All right, so yeah, so Matt doesn't use Unreal. There you go. He doesn't know all the things he can do in blueprints. Tell me what's what. And this is something I noticed in the main reel as well, but Matt kind of quipped the bored trooper intro is kind of a boring intro. Yeah, it sure is. I mean, listen to this. I understand that it's probably your voice and you didn't have access to like professional talent. I appreciate that. But realize that you're like, yes, I'm on my own. And you sound like you just don't care. You know?
I repeat, base station, come in.
Base station, come in. You're just like,
Guess I'm on my own.
guess I'm on my own. And you sound bored. And that's the exact opposite of how you want people to be reacting to your content. You know, I don't want to watch your stuff and be bored. I want to watch it and be like, get hype! Like, what's this thing? Let's watch it right now. Let's learn all about Anthony Martinez, you know? Ah, it's too bad. It's really just, it's too bad. So, let's get back to this, talk about content quality, yeah?
Base station, Sergeant, please stand by for objectives.
So, the vocal futzing, I'm curious what you think of this, Matt. My thoughts were that it might be a step too far. It's kind of a challenge with futzing vocals. For anyone that is unfamiliar with that term, futzing is like taking clean recorded content and making it sound like it's being distorted or through a radio or it's like, you know, been degraded or something like that. So right now there's like this voice. When I say a step too far, it might be like a little bit into the realm of like unintelligibility. And it's a tricky thing, because the thing is, when you're futzing vocals, you know what the original sounds like, and you're faced with trying to make it sound cool, but also conveying the information you need to convey. And I'm very guilty of this myself, actually. I made a game called Phonopath years ago, and I'm sure I can find it real fast. This level 3444. This level. Here we go.
2, 4, 3, 6, 1, 5.
Those are all very clear. Carrying on. What number was that? Do we know? Because the players didn't. You know, they kind of guessed, and many people have figured it out, and there are markers on the timeline that say what it is, but it's not super clear to listen to it. And the thing is, I thought it was fine, but again, I can tell that 5-1, you know. This last one too is 2, but like 2. But if you want to hear 4, you can hear 4 too, you know? So it's a real big problem. It's kind of tricky. I come back to it on fresh ears, ask people to listen to it, etc. But this alone, there's a bassist there in the chat saying they could understand it. I could get most of it.
Sergeant, please stand by for objectives.
Copy that base station.
Copy that base station is real clear, obviously. But then
Perform a weapons check. You've been provided with a rifle and a plasma launcher.
a rifle and a plasma launcher, I think is what it said. But anyway, you're 3 at the end. There you go, Liznek. Yeah, it's tough. It's a hard thing sometimes when you want to push it real far and get a cool sound. And Matt's saying it's a cool sound, but you gotta understand it too. And one might ask the question, like, why does the voice sound like this? You know?
Sergeant, perform a weapons check.
Like, is it an AI? You're saying base station, so that makes me feel like you're talking to a superior officer or someone like that, or someone else who's in your team or squadron, or I don't know. But then, like, we're kind of getting into some weird, like, deep lore stuff at this point. But it's important, because if you're saying, like, base station, then to you, that's what the base station should sound like. But now I'm questioning, like, why does it sound like that?
You've been provided with a rifle and a plasma launcher.
You know, if this is like, if this guy's entire job on the other end, or if it's an AI or something, if their entire function is to deliver information, that information should be, like, plainly clear to hear, you know? So maybe a more simple radio sound that sounds cool still, but isn't more intelligible is a better choice. Yeah, cool. So I liked your guns until this one. We all know that Future has really crappy radios, just always really crappy radios. Yes, exactly. This is kind of cool. It's maybe a bit heavy-handed. And then the pitch change on the second one, I assume it's probably like a pitch randomization thing. But when you have content like this, you're gonna hear a lot, like gunshots, and you have pitch randomization on them. I think that it's real bold when you hear like a semitone lower, like right now. Back to, you know, it kind of pulls the curtain back a bit on what's happened under the hood, and it's not. Ideally, as a sound designer, an audio engineer, you should be kind of operating invisibly as often as possible. And when you have, it becomes real clear. Like they can see the knob in their head, like turning back and forth. You know, Matt doesn't like the energy on it at all. I don't love it at all either, personally. The original hit, like the shot, transient's nice. It's pretty cool, but the is a little bit strange. Mainly, okay. Let's take a step back. We're getting pretty deep in like thinking about this project, this demo, from a perspective of game design, but it's pretty damn important as having a game audio reel that you think about your sound in terms of game design. So we mentioned the whole thing with this voice should be intelligible for reasons of conveying information to the player successfully, but also from a world perspective of like why this sounds so crazy if it's from the base station, and the whole point of that guy's job is to be intelligible and deliver information, right? But besides that, if we're not thinking from a gamey perspective, you have this thing here. We got like the gunshots, and we hear, is it here? I can't even find this. Yeah, right here. You got like shooting into the distance with no ricocheting and no debris. And then we hear the hits here. That's really cool. That's important information for the player to have, that they're hitting things or not hitting things, you know? But then carrying on, this guy, what is the game design purpose of that being as loud as the hit, like as the transient, you know? Like, is that still important to the player? Because your job is to guide and illuminate like guide the player's ear and illuminate the most important things to the player from moment to moment in gameplay. And same thing for like mixing a linear piece, like your gears piece. You should be showing and illuminating the most important, like spotlighting really, the most important thing from moment to moment in the mix. So this moment implies really heavily that is important to gameplay for some reason. And I kind of doubt that it is. I might be wrong. But it seems like it's just like a projectile flight sound or something. Which, A, it's getting farther away, so why is it still so loud? But B, is that flight that important to the player? I feel like the impact's probably important, and the transient's important, but like the mid part is not as important to the player, and it's like easily the tonal nature of it makes it sound almost more important than the transient, you know? So that's a questionable design choice, but we'll carry on.
Sergeant, you've acquired some damage.
One thing as well is that I kept hearing stuff through the whole reel that seems like it's not that positional. Were you guys hearing that at all? Like Matt, were you hearing that? Like this impact, for example, it's like when it's like quite wide, and I don't know if that's just reverb or something, but it's so far in the distance. Like I can point at that explosion, you know, but it's still like kind of all around. Yeah, like it's not really clear where that happened. Again, from a game design perspective, it's pretty damn important to be trying to communicate things to the player, and things like where there's impacts happening are damn important. Not only to know where your projectiles are impacting, but also like where enemy things are impacting. So if that's a problem there, I suspect it might be the same. There's like enemies around shooting you with explosive things, and you don't know where they're coming from or where they're impacting. It's a pretty big problem in the effort of like player survival. All right. We'll carry on here. I think the same thing happened with like the big monster footsteps. I'll skip ahead here. That's where it stuck out the most to me in that position. In the reel here. Let's find it. Right at the very end. This guy walking. Like there's snow and rocks and stuff like compressing and debris moving and stuff like all around us. It's crazy. So in terms of like implementing audio into a 3D space, there's some weird stuff happening in these two videos as far as panorama is concerned, and localizing sound to where it should be. And I think that's probably something you could focus in on. You know, try to sell the idea of space and size and dimension and distance and all these things with your sound. And you can do that with things like having things bassier when you're up nearer to them, or having things, make sure they're very like point source and not stereo or not 2D. I'm inclined to believe those footsteps are 2D. It sure sounds like they are. Matt didn't get the position of the waterfall. I didn't get the position of like the burning things also, like the various torches and stuff in this area. Yeah, it just seemed it seemed like there wasn't a lot of, well, nothing called attention to the fact there is positional content going on. And I think that's something you can do relatively easily in a 3D implementation kind of capacity, you know? Let's just watch some more here. I'll watch through from the beginning of this guy here. Watch through this one.
Base station, come in, base station. I repeat, base station, come in.
Guess I'm on my own.
Yeah, I closed my eyes for a while, and I didn't hear anything of like turning around and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if all your sound's 2D or something, but I'm pretty sure you were like moving around in this time I had my eyes closed. That's cool. They have a subdued inside. That's nice.
What the hell was
It seemed like you did at least.
that? What the hell was that?
But then it faded out, like, it fades in super late when you walk back outside again.
What the hell?
So it fades in, like, when you're well outside already. Like, this stuff is the kind of thing I'd love to hear you talk about, you know? Like, here's this thing I made, check it out. That'd be great. Most secluded tent ever. No, it's alright. It wasn't that bad. I mean, the high frequencies of the waterfall would for sure be blocked out. So this is most definitely animation playing at the end. This, oh, I apologize. This and onto the ground. And again, from a game design perspective, that's a pretty damn important moment. Because this is basically like, you know, you killed the boss, we'll just say, for example. And this, that impact of the knee, I think it's a knee, isn't it? Is huge. And then there's like nothing for the rest of it. So in terms of like rewarding the player for their hard work, that death sequence is effectively a reward sound. You know, the animation and the sound, like everything together, it's a rewarding big moment. And unfortunately, it's not that rewarding in terms of sound. I was saying about thinking in terms of designing for size and space and distance and so forth. And this is like, it's sort of absent. Like I want to hear like a doo-doo and have like the landing like, you know, echo out and be really bassy and have some screen shake and so forth. You know, that'd be sick. It's cool. It seems a bit delicate for what it is. Matt, that's a very good point. Wow. It's a very good point. Thank you. Matt says, and if you're going to have VO, he talked a bunch about being bored and alone. Why isn't he commenting on these big things trying to kill him? That's a very good point. It didn't even occur to me. Thank you. That's cool. It's nice. I feel like you could probably push the difference between ambience more and more. I think how you have like, it seems like you were actively trying to pull the ambience kind of closer together as the piece progressed, which was kind of a cool choice. Like when he's running here, the kid's running, the ambience kind of, was it too late? Here, it's still in the bed. Although it does seem like the bed takes too long to fade out. It's like keeps going. It does. Yeah, there's a layer there that keeps going in the ambience. Footsteps seem pan to the left. Oh, you're right. Yeah, thank you. I mean, the whole reel as a whole, like globally, it seems like you're not paying that much attention to panorama and dimension. You know? And as far as the important parts of a sound mix, we got balance, panorama, frequency range, dynamics, dimension, interest, you know? These are all pretty damn important. And panorama and dimension are kind of absent in here. Like, you got the ambience kind of filled out, but the sense of space is kind of entirely absent. So things like panning things appropriately with perspective and cutting things appropriate time and 3D roll-off and mono versus stereo sound sources and et cetera, et cetera. I think you can put a lot more work into that. A lot more. Like this scene here, we got Run Run of the kid, right? He's like right side over here, and we hear left. Still left, even though it's the same, it's like the same position, even though the camera changed entirely, you know? Matt's mentioning music. I never like music in my SFX reels. Yeah, this one's kind of like arguably music, I guess. It's just very kind of tonal, ambient background stuff, you know? This knife could be pulled up a lot more, I think. Again, this is the most important thing happening in this shot right now is this. It's like very central to the story, right? We see it at the end again. So this, you could really crank it up, like embellish it, you know? It's kind of there, but it's really, it's not interesting, you know? And is there a massive tree smash there or something? Is that what's happening? Like, is that... I'm pretty sure it's what's happening, right? Like right here? Boom. Smashing it. So, that was kind of absent. I heard that the first time through, actually. So I think overall, what's here is not... It's not bad. Like, there's a lot of good content in here, you know? But I think just in terms of delivery, you need to think about a lot more details in like... where things are positioned and how they'd sound compared to the camera, and balance that against what's important to the listener from moment to moment. It's not a matter of just like designing all the things and leaving it at that. It's a matter of designing all the things and then deciding what should be heard. I mean, very, very commonly, I know that Matt does this, is he'll design like frickin' everything in a piece and then take things out. Because once you've realized like, okay, I didn't need like all this detailed Foley, you just pull it out because it's not the focus of the shot, you know? There's a massive twig snapping. Okay, fair enough. Like that hit also could be way bigger. So what's the story of this moment, all right? There's like a flaming or already burnt tree and he's bashing through it. And what's this sound delivered to us? If I close our eyes and listen through again. So it sounds like I hit something, maybe I dropped like a boulder into some gravel or something like that. It's like some loose dirt. But it didn't sound very hot or fiery. You know, get some sizzle in there kind of thing, like running through a bush. Yeah, decide. It's just kind of like a rustly impact. And it's not a bad impact. That could most certainly be in the final piece if you put more time into this. But I think in terms of delivering, like, this is a burnt tree, we didn't have like the sizzle in there, and that's a big thing to deliver too. It's probably a bigger impact, like some debris flying away as well. It's yeah, just more details, you know. The broad strokes are taken care of. So panning as well with that tree, check it out. It's kind of like in front and to the right. It's like a stereo file that's just playing almost. And then it kind of falls to the right channel. But the whole time it's in front of us. Yeah, cool. All right. That's, I think, enough from me. We only had the one reel today, so I tore into it pretty thoroughly. I hope that is somewhat helpful, all that information, Anthony. And I think that what you've got here is a really strong start. Really strong in terms of the content you've got. Some good stuff. Just in terms of how you're delivering it, could be crafted a bit better, a bit more mindfully. So we mentioned the branding thing. We mentioned just trimming down your content so it's not like kind of more of the same. Consistency of things like sound design versus portfolio, of things like sound redesign versus no hyphen versus re-sound design. All these things are really important. And then for your work, getting that panorama and dimension and all that stuff kind of thought of more mindfully as you're mixing. And get that reel down to a minute. It's too long. And talk about your stuff. Tell us about your stuff. It's awesome, you know? Tell us those cool things you know with blueprints. I'd love to hear it. So overall, I think in terms of the distinction note down here, I don't think you're standing out quite yet. I think it's really close. I think in terms of your skill sets and what you're bringing forwards, there's some really good stuff here. But I think it just needs to be tightened up in terms of convincing us that it's there and getting those hooks in early and then making it worth people's time to stick around and look at more of your stuff, you know? And Matt says, not standing out right now. I think it could, with some tuning up, tighten it up, a little more detail to things, a little more consistency. Agreed. Thanks a lot, pal. Thanks, Anthony. And I'm going to play like 20 minutes of freaking